All right, welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Larry Krueger. Today's guest, the great Dwight Hicks. No, the great Al Madrigal, former St. Ignatius Wildcat. And if I walked into the Niner locker room the other day, Al, as I did, and I looked up, that same exact hat that you're wearing was on Trent Williams' head. I mean, he has that exact hat. He wears it every week.
Shout out to I just bought a couple and gave them away as gifts, but Residency, and the hat that you saw, this is the Presidio. I purchased it, so I'm not sponsored at all. We give them the shout out. This is a trucker that Brock Purdy wore on the courtside at the Warrior game. So I saw that and I was like, it's a good looking hat. And I'm rocking.
How you been, man? Good to see you. You're in LA on the set. You got a brand new TV show that we want to get to. Why don't we just start right there? You got a brand new TV show, NBC, Friday nights, 8:00. Lopez versus Lopez.
Two Lopez's versus.
Give us more. Yeah. Give us more.
Oh no, it's George Lopez's. I play a new show on NBC. I play a stoner best friend. It's the best gig in. You're growing out this beard. Look at all. They used to put me on high time shows just because I looked big. I didn't have any plot, like jokes, or I wasn't a stoner comic or anything like that. But they put me on tour with like Doug Benson and all these other stoner comics. Hey, James Cho, I'm walking around saying, can we swear on this thing? Can we say whatever we want? I'm saying, let's fucking go to every single Niner fan in this building. Like, there's a bunch of us, and I am fist bumping everybody because I am fired up. And I'm going to give you my take right now, Larry, without you asking for it. I think everybody in the NFC East is garbage. I really do, and they all have made the playoffs because they're playing each other, and they're all still a shitty division. And if you look at the Eagles' record over the course of the year,
right,
they're shit. They're beating up on garbage teams. That's all they're doing. Let me see.
It's funny that you say that, Al, because everybody bangs on the Niners' strength of schedule. Niners were 31st, Eagles were 32nd. So you're dead right.
I think that's ridiculous also because we did play the Chargers. You're playing Washington. Like, Washington was tough. New Orleans defense was tough. That was and the fact that we shut them out is amazing. It shows how bad their offense actually is. But look how few points we put up against them. Like, and they beat the Eagles. So like, and I just think that if you look at who they played.
Not only that, the Niners were plus 95 in point differential in their common opponents. They both teams played Washington, Arizona, Dallas, Chicago, New Orleans. Niners went 5-1. Eagles went 4-3. Niners scored over 101 more points.
Look at some of these games against quality teams that made the playoffs. So they're starting their season. They're on a roll, and they beat Jacksonville, but it's 29-21. All right. So now they're 4-0, and then their only travel to Arizona. So they didn't have to come to the West Coast at all. Let's all look at that. Like, let's look at the fact that they didn't have to go to the West Coast. Meanwhile, the Niners are bouncing around, doing the fucking sleepover, like it's
Mexico City, Colorado Springs,
Mexico City. They're going all over the place, and the Eagles are staying put and only going to the West Coast once. If you can call Arizona the West Coast, and it's 2017 against Arizona, we played Arizona twice. They suck. Like, they were horrible. And so, again, Dallas after that, 26-17. Then they have their bye week, and they come out strong against Pitt when they don't know what the hell's going on with their team. And then Houston, 29-17. Then they lose to Washington, 32-21. You saw what we did to Washington. And I guarantee, we know that teams evolve or devolve, but with injuries over the course of a season. But look at the win against Indianapolis, 17-16 with Hurts. Then Green Bay, 43-33. Then Tennessee, they blow out, which is fine because look what ended up happening to them. And then Giants are putting up 22 on them, but look at Green Bay throwing 33 on them. Look at Washington beating them and throwing 32 on them. Like and this is with Hurts back, but 25-20 Chicago.
Oh, I know. I mean, you look at the Eagle team. I mean, the thing about it is the Niners have as much talent as Philly, and they also have a lot more experience. And I mean, I think experience counts for something. Sirianni's never coached in an NFC Championship game. Shanahan's been an offensive coach in multiple Super Bowls, and he's been a head coach in the Super Bowl. So we'll see. I think it's you got to start fast, man. You can't dig yourself a hole.
No, and we can't look. They can't. I'm looking at some of those long bombs that people have had success with us. There's and especially with Lenoir and and Charvarius Ward. They can hurl the ball up, and we're talking about Devontae Adams. We're talking about like I've been BS News. I've been a Niner. I guess I'm not like too vocal. I hate social media, so maybe you won't.
We should give you the proper intro. First of all, the great Al Madrigal with us, and obviously Al is an incredible star at this point. He's a comedian, he's a writer, he's an actor.
Dude, first of all, I'm in the middle, just cruising.
No, I mean, you're the co-founder of All Things Comedy. You along with Bill Burr. You've done The Daily Show, movies. I loved your movie. With the basketball coach, The Way Back with Ben Affleck. I thought that was, I mean, it was a very dark movie, dude. But I mean, I really enjoyed it. I found myself watched it more than once, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. How did you feel about that movie?
I loved it. It was an amazing experience, and then I'm still in touch with a lot of people from it. When you do any of these movies, it's like summer camp, and so you just sort of don't see the people that much anymore, but I'm still a testament to how well we all got along, as I'm still in touch with a bunch of those guys. So.
But see, before Al became this megastar, we're Sunset kids. I was more middle, inner, outer Sunset. You're more inner Sunset, but we were basically Sunset kids.
Yeah.
So,
and my dad had Kezar tickets.
My dad did as well.
And then we would go to Candlestick, and we were in section 62 with the Moriarty boys. Still are in my section at.
I feel for you.
And so we would go. 62 was rough, man. 62. There was a bar that was under the stadium called like the Fifth Quarter, something just like horrible. Like what was it?
And you went to Notre. I didn't realize you went to Notre Dame de Victoire.
Yeah, I went to NDV. Yeah.
Which is right there on Nub Hill.
Kids on my block, the Meehan brothers their mom got in a fight with the principal at St. Anne's, which was just like a block away. And so they started going to NDV, and both my parents worked. So I had to catch the N Judah, and we'd ride it downtown. And so that's where I met, all my buddies that I'm still in touch with today, like Julian Ware, Ben Kalen, John Kristen, John Claude Caligari, all those guys are
GC,
John Glugowski. John Glugowski has seats in my section at Levi's, but never shows up. And because he's big time. And then
you're local. So and then Al's SI Wildcat through and through. Go Cats, get them Cats.
Well, that's why when the Niners suck, it's hard for me. Like I fly up for every single game. So when Inner Sunset, where it's at, bro.
Outer Sunset. I remember Chuck Murphy used to say, "Hey, let's meet after class. 53rd and Terraville, tuna fish sandwiches on me."
That's hilarious.
Terraville for the What's that?
You go to St. Cecilia's?
I went to Stewart Hall.
Oh shit.
Stewart Hall. Yeah. So I was given a lot and did very little with it.
Yes, that's right. Still same. Yeah. NDV was actually that good of a school.
Well, hey, and then Morbius, obviously, we're in that. That was a major
movie. In London for 2.5 months, and like, it's one of those things where they have you on a movie 60 plus days, and I work 20 or 19 days. So I'm just like riding a bike. Went to Amsterdam on the weekends. Like I just
Wow.
did a ton of stand up out there. I had the time of my life. And then yeah, so work has been great, but it's all funding my Niner problem. And so I fly up for the games. So I've been to pretty much. I only think I missed the Christmas Eve game. Is the only game that I missed this year, and that was against Washington.
So
Right.
you're there. You're there in the house. That's
I'm
awesome. You're
there
seeing
every
all these
single. I
games. So
just went and saw your old buddy Rod Brooks. I'm still in touch with
nice.
him, so I pop by and I'll say what's up to Rob and Mayoko. Um, I over the years, because I've done stuff with the Niners, got to meet and hang out with Jed, who's super cool, and just know people in the organization now.
I think
So
Jed gets a little bit of a bad rap, to be
I don't see
honest.
why. You've been to the NFC Championships. Like, look at the numbers. Like, why would you get a bad rap for anything? And that pissed me off so much when you don't think he wants to win, dude.
Oh,
Like,
I
because
know. I mean,
there's
that's
some
all he
owners.
wants. That's all he wants to do is
I
win.
think there's some owners that don't, that just want to keep their salaries low and just cash the checks. And he's clearly not one of those guys. So I like all the people from the Sunset weighing in. That's sweet.
Seriously, 32nd
Yeah,
Noriega.
go.
Wasn't that where Safeway was? I believe that was
Oh,
Safeway.
dude, I lived at 47th and Cabrillo after I left USF. So I went to USF as well, and went and I lived at 47th and Cabrillo. That's Safeway. You want to go somewhere weird? Go to that Safeway at like midnight when the night crew comes in and they're all on meth stocking the shelves. That's
Where are you now, by the way? Where
Um,
not where you're sitting, but I know we already talked about that. But where are
Where
you?
do I
Where are you
live?
living?
Oh, I live right by the Rose Bowl.
Like
So I've
Pasadena?
actually de facto, yeah, I've become a UCLA football fan because of my proximity to the Rose Bowl.
Now,
So
why did you choose Pasadena? Because man, my wife's grandparents live in Palos Verdes, and
yeah,
I'll tell you, Palos Verdes reminds me a little bit of like a spruced up Sunset. You're like
well,
living out by the ocean. You get that. You're almost living in the ocean, and you get that salt air, which is kind of cool. But it's obviously the
everybody go to
real estate's a little
Redfin
bit more
or
pricey.
Zillow and pull up Palos Verdes and tell me what you can buy nice under $6 million. Go.
Is
Um,
that it?
that's why. Anything near water, if you didn't buy it in the 50s when your in-laws bought their place,
Right.
then yeah, you're not doing that now.
You're not doing that anymore.
No, Manhattan Beach, Malibu, used to be able to go out to those places and buy something in like Redondo or Hermosa Beach. You can't do that anymore. I would totally like, if when this show is on the air for 6 years, I definitely want to go to like Laguna Beach or Santa Barbara and have like a vacation home I can get to. But Pasadena is a great place to raise kids so they don't become Hollywood jerks.
So do you have a good vibe on this game, or are
I
you
really
nervous
do,
about this
because
game?
I
Because I mean,
think,
I know the last game was
look,
like
what
I
are you?
thought they would beat Dallas. This
How
one, I don't know.
I knew we were going to beat Dallas, for the same reason I know we're going to beat Philly, is that they have not played anyone. They have not played anyone. They are going to get hit. Now, you worry about our offensive line, and you saw what we went up against in Dallas, is a little bit of a sieve. Like, they're coming through.
Right.
And Brock, to this point, has been great at not turning the ball over. He's eluding everybody. And what we haven't seen is Brock Purdy, the runner. What I was really hoping we were going to do is bust out some stuff that no one's really seen before. I was really hoping that I'd see Jordan Mason
I was
when they were.
too.
I was really hoping. Remember when Debo was hurt and we had Ray McLeod run that Debo play?
Yeah, against
I
against
want to see.
Washington.
I want
I've
to
been
see
looking
that.
for that ever since.
Me too. And I'm really hoping that we can incorporate a little bit of trickery. But who am I to say? Because obviously Kyle is this offensive genius, and we've seen, you know, I know a lot of people that I sit with and a lot of people that I'm related to have been very frustrated with, you're running up the middle, running up the middle, running up the middle, and people are getting hurt. And every
Little
time that
conservative.
somebody grabs Christian McCaffrey's leg and twists it, and tries to like give him a little extra something, my heart stops. But I think we just need to exhaust them and then show them some stuff that they haven't seen before. But they're
Have
coming.
you ever watched the game with Jed, by the way?
I have luckily enough been able to watch games with Jed. Yes.
What's his demeanor like in the game? Is he super fired up? Does he get like does he get verbal and give his opinions?
I mean,
Does
just
he keep it to
imagine the
himself?
enthusiasm that you watch your own like family play. Like he's got like
He's all in.
I can't even begin to empathize what he must feel like, but I know he's fired up. Like, I mean, he's cool, calm, and collected, but really wants to win. Like, and that's nonstop. And if anybody thinks otherwise, they're idiots.
Does he drop F-bombs?
Yeah,
Connor says, does he drop F-bombs?
I'm not gonna. I don't want to comment too much on.
No. We're just.
I want to keep getting invited back, guys.
Do you ever watch with Balky? Because I loved your Balky impressions.
Oh, yeah. How are you? Hey, Trent Balky here. Do I think that? Yeah.
I do my own Balky. I had him on the show in training camp before us last year, and I really didn't like their linebackers because Bowman had coming off the surgery and they had Gerald Hodges, and I'm like Trent, what? I mean, are you guys looking for linebacking help, or is there you have a concern about this year with these linebackers? Larry, we love our linebackers. It's a good group. Gerald Hodges is a tremendous player. And Navarro's going to get all the way back. And, he starts going into it, and it's like, Trent Balky.
I'm really happy for his success in Jacksonville.
Yeah, seriously.
I really am. And I think
outlived Urban.
What's that?
He outlived Urban Meyer.
Totally. He got through that. Like, he's it's awesome. So anyway, I have gotten to watch. Did I watch games? I had this weird run after post. I was able to roast.
Tell us about the Jerry Jones encounter. Didn't you do an impression of him and you didn't like it?
The NFL owners before Super Bowl 50, thanks to Jed and Al Guido, and I was just sort of going around the room. It was the roughest gig ever. I think after it was the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars' son. What's his last name? Is Shad
Khan.
Khan, yeah, Shad Khan. He, the son came up to me. He's like, "Man," he goes, "that was the best we've ever seen anybody do." He goes, "We had a comedian a couple of years ago that really ate it, and I wanted to just think of super famous comic that makes $1 trillion more than I do, and he's super super funny." And like Rich Eisen was there, and we were shaking each other, and I was like, "That was insane." This is when John Lynch was just like a guest, and he wasn't president of the Niners yet. And it was like just a surreal opportunity. And then I watched. It was Jeremy Renner, me, and the Steve Miller Band was that was the lineup, and it was just weird, man. It was like one of those things from Silicon Valley where the Steve Miller Band was performing hits, "Fly Like an Eagle."
The Joker?
Joker. All the hits. Just boom, boom, boom. 4 people dancing.
Wow.
Like empty floor. And I'm standing with the group of servers from French Laundry going, whoa, this is insane. Like, it's cool. But in terms of ownership and in terms of like this management team, how can you tell me who's in better hands? Tell me who's in better hands than us. Like, really, like, and that's how I used to think about Bill Walsh and Carmen Policy. And like, when they're making these choices where you're drafting and there's gonna be some misses, but look at all the hits,
Well, I
dude.
mean, look at I think it's very similar to Eddie D. Eddie D took over the Niners in the late 70s. His father owned the team. His father had owned the Penguins. He left Eddie the Niners and he hired Joe Thomas. And I asked Eddie about it a few years ago. I'm like, why Joe Thomas? And he's like, well, you know what? He was recommended to me. And he was from Youngstown, Ohio. We were all from Youngstown, Ohio. We wanted somebody who knew the family. We went with Joe Thomas. It didn't work. Eddie immediately pulls the plug, goes and hires Bill Walsh, gives him total control of the football operation, and the rest is history. He always was involved. He was always passionate, and he always funded it, and was the fuel behind the whole thing. But he was not a football guy and didn't try to be one. Jed isn't either. Jed hired the wrong people. He gave Singletary a coaching job in the locker room, in a boisterous end of the season locker room. Never should have done that. Made some mistakes, and then guess what? He found Kyle Shanahan, found John Lynch, tied them together. He's now not involved in football decisions. He's just funding the thing, and it's working great.
Look at, just real quick, if I can stop you, like, I'm a business owner, and my family business was staffing, so I've hired so many people. Like, I have the best of intentions when I hire for any positions, and all things comedy. We have a bunch of people working for us right now, and they're all great. But there's been missteps. There's people that you think are going to work out great. Anybody who's ever worked anywhere knows that this is how employment works.
Yeah.
You look at somebody on paper, and then you look at their qualifications, and you look at their enthusiasm for the job, and then you place them in the position, and if it doesn't work, you pull the plug. And so that's it. You take chances as is no different than any other employer, is what I'm saying.
Right.
No different than any other business owner that exists. We've all made bad hires, and he had a couple bad hires, but then to know that they're bad hires, pull the plug and move on. And look where we are now. And look at all the NFC championships and going to the Super Bowl. Like, we're here. We're in it. Do you see all these pictures of sad Dallas fans? Do you see what KMBR, and sorry, search subject, but do you see what KMBR? No, I'm kidding. What KMBR posted with that montage of all the sad Dallas fans? I love it. I love it.
They're having a hard time getting out of their own way down there. I mean,
they've never been past the second round. Like, in the last 30 years?
They hadn't. It was 1995. 1995, last time they'd won a road playoff game, and 95 is their last Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I'm a Warrior fan as well.
Right.
And
Giants?
You remember, dude. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You remember when we used to go to sit in the bleachers and yell at Deion Sanders, dude?
95. That's also 95.
Jerry Rice. That's so fun. Yeah, I as a Warrior fan, you look at what we work through. This is what makes it better. Like, if you aren't there for the tough times, and can't stomach it all, like that, this is what makes a true fan. Like, and so none of us are fair weather fans. We started with this team. I'm not going anywhere else. And I'm thrilled with where they are right now.
Yeah, I am too. And you know what? Here's the bottom line on Jed. I don't care. He's an easy punching bag. Bottom line is where his football people have recommended him to spend money, he does not flinch. He spends the money.
I can't even imagine how people, like, this is what really pisses me off. Like, if people think he's still a punching bag, just go root for somebody else. Go pick another team, because this is.
They stayed at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs with probably a group of 250 or 300 people for a week. That costs money. And why do they do it? Just to avoid one extra plane flight for the team, to keep them a little fresher, a little bit better, because his football people recommend it, analytics people recommend. You know what I mean? He's that kind of a guy. He paid off the Chip Kelly regime and the Tom Sula regime, Harbaugh's assistants, and they're in a good spot now. And I think right now, they're in the best spot they've been in. The recovery says, "What's your official score prediction?"
I'm gonna put out a couple right now. It's just
what
not.
do you think?
I'm not gonna try to hedge my bets, but I think we are going to beat them. I'm gonna say 17-10.
Low scoring. I agree. Low scoring. Defenses both win, but somehow Niners get the win. I didn't even ask you about Brock Purdy. What do you think of Brock Purdy?
Love him. And this is kind of. I was calling for him. I don't have any evidence to back this up because I don't tweet. But in terms of I was calling for this guy during that Denver game when we lost to Russell Wilson, 11-10.
Right.
And
terrible offensive game.
Yeah, but and Jimmy
was Jimmy's first game back.
I've interacted with Jimmy a couple times and couldn't be a cooler dude. Couldn't ever. No one will argue that. But in terms of this kid's ability to improvise, and whatever I'm hearing everything about him, commanding a presence in the huddle and just his preparation when Christian McCaffrey comes in. Who does he study with? It's Brock Purdy. And obviously, when you look at him securing that second position after they already committed $2 million to
Sudfeld, to Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah, Nate Sudfeld, who's already had, and then went to go snatched up immediately by Detroit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible year. It's been an absolutely incredible year.
It's been a great year, and I'm excited about this year after that. What do we have coming up? I'm not looking ahead and looking past this, but we got to sign Bosa.
They've already signed Debo. The nice thing is they have about 9 draft choices. The numbers that really jumped out to me in this last game, Al, were when Brock Purdy was kept clean, he completed 19 of 21 or 17 of 19. It was 88%. And, so what they need to do is they need to invest a little money in the draft or in free agency in another, some more offensive linemen. Just build up that offensive line. They got the great weapons. Re-sign Bosa, and try to pile up more athletes on the defensive side. I mean, they're stacked. I mean, the John Lynch. You can say a lot of people I think were unsure about John Lynch because he was a great announcer, great player. Could he really be a great GM? We knew Shanahan was a great coach, or at least a great play caller. But John Lynch has kind of proven. I think he should get the executive of the year this year. And I think he's got them in a spot depth-wise that's the best they've ever had under Kyle
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
I don't understand why these guys aren't being recognized, considering a third stringer has come into the system and excelled like this much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kittle is our guy. MJ, I'm picking Niners. Shocker that what a shocking thing that you're picking the Niners, considering you're watching the Niners.
Well, then the other one's Aziz. Aziz is the big one because he's a free agent at the end of the year, and he's a badass, and he's a great guy, and they took him as an undrafted free agent. But
people are going to come, people are going to go. The coaching carousel is what's the trickiest thing, and I think they're
probably going to lose to Miko.
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe he needs a year. That do you see? Lynn is interviewing places as well.
I saw that as an OC, and the Niners keep getting all these draft picks back because of the way the Rooney Rule is now structured. So obviously that's going to.
We have a bunch of third round.
There's a bunch of extra picks there coming in the future.
Don't forget what's happening with Emmanuel Mosley. He's going to.
He's out for the year, but he's a free agent, and they got to sign him. But he's coming off a major injury, and that'll probably crush his market to some degree. Which, sadly, his injury may mean that he will be back, as opposed to. I mean, it's good for the team because I thought, to me, if they had Mosley, I'd feel so much better about Sunday because that's how good he is.
Yeah.
And they've missed him since he's been out. But
Well,
Lenore played well.
I started to say with their receivers, and they have amazing receivers. Brown is incredible. Like they're solid.
Devontae.
So yeah, I just feel like they some of these catches I look at and I'm like, wow, that just had to be in the. I mean, they're perfect throws, perfect catch. Like just some of these catches that are those 40+ yarders have been incredible.
Hey, bud, a couple of things about you before we let you out of here. What would you say is the best move you've ever made in your career, or the best project you've worked on? Because
The best move I ever made in my career. Let me answer that one real quick. Quitting my job and following the dream of being a stand-up comic. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
By the way,
But I mean, what's your best
give
project?
all the credit for going out on your own to Grant, like that. Anyway, Larry,
What's that?
I said I love how you give all the credit, 100% of the credit to Grant.
Where does you say that?
I'd like to thank Grant Cohn for giving me the encouraging me to go out on my own and do my own thing. For getting a very, very long conversation about me getting you fired up.
Oh no, you what I loved about what okay, let's get this. Let's throw this out.
I'm totally joking. But
No, seriously, you're right though, because one of the most meaningful conversations I had when I left KMBR, and it wasn't like I left on my own will. They decided they didn't want to pick up my contract. Was when we talked, and you said, "Hey, man, don't sit around perfecting the story of how it ended, and get on to your next thing and get bigger and better, and invest a couple years in yourself, and see where you're at in a couple years, and then reassess." And that's what I'm in the midst of doing. So, dude, I really,
but also taking control. And then you're asking about the best move I ever made, and this is why I bring this up, is because I quit my job, and I had TV and stand-up comedy, but I just started doing stand-up and started doing the thing that I love. So anybody who's listening, you should not be working a shit job that you hate. You need to take it, become your own small business owner, and everything is going to unfold, and do something that you're really passionate about. So that was easily the thing that I did. I definitely want to, I'm out to now play as much golf as I possibly can, and get
relax.
Up to, I want to get to Carmel or something like that, so I can be close to Levi's and golf and just watch Niners. My ideal life, which I envision, is following the Niners on the road. There's nothing more fun than going and see the Niners on the road.
I know.
And taking over a stadium. I've been to a bunch of these now. Especially, you will definitely see me at a season opener on the road. And the Niners beat reporters are the most fun dudes to hang out with. I have a blast doing that, so I'm looking to do that as much as possible.
You mentioned Carmel. My wife, we went down to Carmel for her birthday, and yeah, what a spot, man! That's
the spot. Especially if you like golf, and you're right there on the ocean, and you get a couple dogs, run them on the beach. That's what we need on the vision board. But just also this team has been so fun, and I can't get enough of it, man. I'm in.
Oh man, I am too. And they're 2 wins away from Brock Purdy, the Disney movie. You know what I mean? It's just going to be.
Are you going to go to the Super Bowl?
Yes. We're going to the Super Bowl. I've been doing a lot of Niner coverage this year, interviewing a lot of the players. Yeah, and it's it's really cool. I mean, it's given me kind of a totally different perspective, and I've helped the audience get to know some of these players a little bit beyond just the 5 or 6 stars that kind of front the team.
You're asking some good questions, Larry. I've watched a couple of those.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun, and the Charvarius Ward one is the fun one. I just kind of threw out receivers, and he just kind of stream of consciousness started going through what he sees about each one of them as players, and he was going into Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and all these guys, and it was really that one.
Funny.
Yeah, he's a character. Corners, NFL corners are cocky, and if they're not cocky, you got to wonder how long it's going to last.
Well,
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
the only thing that can mess us up on Sunday is Jalen Hurts. We have a hard time with improvised running and
Yeah,
plays and a mobile quarterback, as you've seen multiple times. Play breaks down, no one's spying Jalen Hurts, and he takes off for 22 yards, and all of a
right.
sudden, they're in field goal range, and then, and then it's the stupidity and then there's the dumb luck of, helmet hitting the ball and those turnovers that happen.
Late
Um,
hits out of bounds, things like
exactly,
that.
exactly, exactly. So
Those kinds of
everyone
things.
needs to stay focused, and then we should be fine. I
Yeah.
don't mind. Yeah, that's right, Connor. Bosa needs to crush people. I want to see, but can't crush them too much. So you need to lay up a little bit,
That's
and
right.
we need to lay up. We need to not land on them. And I would love to use Debo a little bit more creatively. Again, um, he's. I feel like Brock. I need a great game out of Brock. And this is with. Sorry, one more thing. Trey Lance next year. A lot of people are talking about this.
Yeah. What do you
Use
think?
them both. You have him on a rookie contract, even though he's making a lot of money. You still are going to build up his trade value by using him. So I would love to see him in some sort of like Taysom Hill, like dual sort of quarterback situation where you had both of them in the backfield. He can throw a bomb or he can run. Like get him in there and let's see what he can do as much as possible.
Brock is going to be great for his development because you know what? Brock does all these nuances well, and Trey's raw, and he'll see that. They'll practice together. I think they take a $20 million cap hit, I believe, if they trade him. So they're not trading him
He's
this
not
year.
going
But
anywhere. He should stay until
yeah,
he has to go.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're what are you doing? What's your schedule these days? Like you're
I'm
filming
shooting
when?
right now, so we
So let's see your
rehearse
room
all
again.
week, and then I tape on Tuesday nights. If anybody wants to is in LA and wants to go to Universal, it's Lopez versus Lopez Tuesday nights.
Oh, it's a live audience.
Yeah, we're doing it's a multicam, so it's like Friends or Cheers, and it's
So
live
what's
audience.
that like? Is that the first time you've done that?
No, I've been on
The
so
Daily
many
Show
shows
was like
that I
that,
haven't.
right?
No, well, Daily Show was like that, but that's I guess that was a multicam. Like there's those moments and a lot of pre-taped segments, but I was on a show called Gary Unmarried with Jay Moore. I'm trying to think of my other multicams. I've done guest spots here and there, and now I'm kind of blanking. I wrote on a show last year called Broke with Jaime Camille and Polly Perrette that wasn't, just at the beginning of pandemic. But yeah, new George Lopez show, Lopez versus Lopez, Kev F.
And what's the premise of this one? You said that you're basically his high buddy.
We're movers, and premise is that he's been estranged from his daughter, and they're like sort of becoming family again, and hijinks ensue.
And how many episodes have you guys filmed?
We have done at this point, 15, I guess, and then we're doing a back 9. So it's a hit, man. It's a hit, and they've got a 22 episode order, which is unheard of in today's TV landscape. People are only getting 10, 13, 8, 6.
Awesome. And it's 8:00 Pacific on Friday nights is the time slot.
That's right. If anybody,
What do you think of the time slot?
It's a great place to be. I'm very happy.
You're just happy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I told everybody, if you ever don't see me smiling from ear to ear, something has gone horribly wrong. I have to jam. I'm doing.
We're almost up to 12K.
12K subscribers.
Yeah.
You just celebrated 10 the other day. You were.
I know. We've got this last couple of weeks. We've picked up 2,800 subscribers in the last 2.5 weeks.
Are you buying a lot of that? Is you got a friend adder type of situation? Is that what's happening?
No, I think it's just it's
No,
playoff time.
You're good at
It's
it.
playoff time,
Like,
man.
and you're having a lot of your old buddies on. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and it's
good.
good. And we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, do a lot of live streaming from the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be great. Hope Niners are one win away from 2 weeks of just
How many people
Ninerdom.
weigh in that
So
are listening are going to Levi's Stadium and in the crowd at Levi's on a regular basis? Can we season ticket holders? Season ticket holders, are you there? Let me see. Who's a season ticket holder?
oh, there's lots of season ticket holders.
Can you have everybody shut the hell up when we're on offense? If it's third down again and I look over and there's some lady screaming Niners, Niners, go Brock. Let's go. Shut the hell up.
Seriously.
All right. It's so simple.
Loud
When
on
we're
D, quiet on O. Not that
Yes.
hard.
Scream your ass off when we're on defense. Don't let them. I mean, we're super loud. I walk away every single week with no voice. But please shut the fuck up when we're on offense.
Exactly.
You don't understand how many people are yelling nonstop. If you see somebody, Levi's, it's interesting. Levi's is, for an open air stadium,
Yeah.
not as bad as I think people are nostalgic for a candlestick in that location.
It's not that bad.
But I was in section 62 in the corner above the Jumbotron.
right.
We didn't have food anywhere near us.
Oh, that's not
Anywhere near us. If you wanted a hamburger, you had to walk around the stadium when I was a little kid. There was no food.
Right.
Bathrooms were insane. Like,
There was a rumor.
Yes,
and there was a trough, and it was dangerous.
It was a trough. You never hung out with me and like all the guys in that bar. When it was raining, rain would come through the ceilings.
Yeah.
We had to wear rain gear inside the bar.
The last game there, I'm leaving after the Navarro Bowman interception pick 6. We're leaving after the post-game show. We're going down the escalator, running up the escalator, 2 raccoons.
Yeah. Dude, I had to escort my dad out. Remember that Raiders preseason game where somebody died?
Yeah.
Dude,
Very sad.
I had to escort my little old father out. And I look in one of the bathrooms and I see this huge Samoan guy smashing a dude's head against the sink. And I was like, we got to get out of here. But I want to bring my son. Like, I want to bring a 7-year-old, at that time. Like, I want to be able to have kids go to these games.
Without being scarred.
Dude, without being scarred and without having a bunch of animals around me trying to fight, So I do like a nice, clean stadium. Do I wish it was still in San Francisco? Sure. But we can't have everything we want. And so just suck it up and deal with it, you babies.
Hey, man, you're awesome. Al Madrigal, Lopez versus Lopez, Friday nights, 8 o'clock, former St. Ignatius Wildcat. Go Cats, get them, Cats.
I'll see you up there. I'm doing, the Steve McFeely, the guy who were you in the same class as McFeely?
Yeah,
He was a year ahead of you, right?
No, well, I know Steve McFeely. Yeah, I knew him at least.
Yeah. So he wrote all those Marvel movies, Endgame, Captain America. Like, he's doing the business lunch,
nice.
or business breakfast. So you should come by for that. I'm interviewing him.
Okay. How long is that? How far away is that? Couple weeks?
It's in the spring or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's usually the springtime. I'll look for it, man.
All right,
hey, you're the best, man. And thanks for inspiring me, dude. Because no, seriously, I give Grant a lot of credit because you know what, Grant.
Well, he taught you how to do the.
He takes a lot of crap, and he kind of showed me the way on the YouTube front. And I think he's a better guy than he gets credit for being, or whatever that people say.
He there's some rough critical commentary where others are not as critical, and I don't think I've met him a couple times. He seems like a cool dude. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he's
to each their own, man. Everybody's a little different.
Saying a lot of things like they are, like when you look at his player grades or position sort of grades after the game and his scorecard, you're not wrong. Like so it's tough for a lot of people to face the facts, but
No, I hear you. I hear you,
people
brother.
mess up, they're going to hear it from him.
He's
right,
not
Larry.
a bad guy, but seriously, our conversation was the one that really said, you know what? Don't feel sorry for yourself. Get up, go do something. And I've had a lot of fun this year, made some good money.
Well, keep
The
building
thing's on a
it,
good
dude, and you're
trajectory.
going to get from 12,000. But I think once you continue to do this, and maybe green screen, like this intro is awesome, but continue to add elements to this that even make it a little bit more professional.
Yeah.
You could go that route, or just let people completely in. Who's that? Who's going to come in the room and you told them to be quiet? Like,
oh, my wife. So I was on my way to Costco. So I left my house to go to Costco to go get a bunch of things. And then you called and said, hey, I can do it right now. And I'm like, you know what? I can do the Costco thing. I get the rest of the afternoon free. I'm really doing nothing today. Though I am going to hopefully talk to Steve Young later today.
oh, cool.
So that I'm looking forward to that. But if outside of you and Steve today, I didn't have a lot going on. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure I get out. So then I had to come right back. So then she was in the house. I had set everything up. By the time she came out, I forgot to mention that, I didn't even go to Costco. She's looking at me like, weren't you supposed to be at Costco? And instead I'm Al Madrigaling,
She's no toilet paper.
Exactly.
So Steve Young.
I mean, look at this. Wait a second. I don't just go to Costco. I got to show you the behind the scenes Krueger life, because this is what you really need to see.
This is what everybody wants.
This is a list.
Honey,
see that? See, it says chicken breasts.
I love going rogue
and like ground beef and tri-tip, and she's got to give me a list. I need a list.
But I love a list. But then when I go rogue and I come back with 2 giant boxes of family-sized Frosted Flakes, she's like, this wasn't on the list.
Right.
But yeah,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What the fuck?
Yeah, totally.
I get that.
Steve Young, big Brock Purdy guy. He's all in.
Dude, I'm all. Dude, Brock Purdy. I kind of saw the brilliance of Brock Purdy about 3 weeks after the draft. And then I was like, you know what? The Niners may have something here. Let's see what he looks like in minicamp. He looked great in the minicamp. And I'm like, I can't say anything. People are going to think I'm crazy. But I thought he looked great. So then I'm like, all right. In training camp, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see what this guy looks like. He looked great in training camp. And I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah, I watched every preseason game. And I was like, dude.
This guy's the guy.
Who's this guy? Love it.
Seriously, bro.
All right.
Hey, good to see you, man. Thank you.
Later,
man. The great Al Madrigal. All right, let's do this. We got a bunch of people in the chat, and I'm going to play our commercials here. We're going to do a little break, get some water, then we'll go video calls. We'll get into the chat. We'll get into some video calls, and I'll post the link here. All that straight ahead on the Krueg Show. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, call and make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equal.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed.
All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show on a Friday, 2:40 in the afternoon. We got 300 plus people in the chat. We've been going for 51 minutes. We had the great Al Madrigal on, my former buddy from St. Ignatius, who's now a megastar. He's pretty chill about it. But Al's a comedian, a writer, an actor, a producer. He co-founded All Things Comedy, which is a podcast network, which is fucking awesome. Bill Burr and him discovered that or produced that, and that's a monster. And then, of course, he was on The Daily Show and, several things, including this movie that a sports drama. It's a great rental. He was in the movie The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. It's kind of dark. It's about a basketball coach who has a real severe problem with alcoholism, but it's a really good movie. And he plays Ben Affleck's assistant coach. And then he's been in Morbius, and now he's got Lopez versus Lopez on NBC, and he is just blowing up. So shout out to my man, Al. All right, let's hit the chat, and then we'll hit the video calls and see who's in the room here. Couple chats. We got this one from Keena. Costco, best return policy ever. There you go. Yes, I'll be there shortly. G-Code Travels Vlog POV. Philly sports news, surprised amount of 49er fans living in the surrounding Philly area, plus 49ers fans travel. 45%, 55% fans, not too much advantage for Philly. Well, Niner fans do travel. There's no question about that. No question about that. All right, let's go in and add to the stream. Mo Niners, is that what you're going by?
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing great, man. Where you coming to us from?
Castro Valley, California. Nice. I'm a San Francisco native. I lived there, born and raised in San Francisco, actually General Hospital.
Okay. I was born at Children's Hospital. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Commodore Sloat.
Commodore Sloat. I used to be a Cub Scout. We used to have our meetings at Commodore Sloat right there on Ocean Ave.
Ocean Avenue, yeah.
Yep. Right there.
And I went to Aptis Middle School right there on Ocean Avenue, and then Lincoln High School. Went to City College of San Francisco. So yeah, I'm a San Francisco native. I
grew up on Rivera Street.
My parents
lived on Rivera between 35th and 36th Avenues.
Nice. Yeah. So in the Sunset, that's awesome.
Sunset,
that's awesome.
Yep. So what's on your mind, man?
So I was just going to tell you, I think honestly, we'd really, really have to get Ayuk involved. I think it's going to be important for us to get, possibly get him, because I think he can get around the secondary, around Slay, around and just kind of just his route running is incredible. And I think if he really hits his route running, I can't say to perfection, but to a doing it great. I think we can possibly get some long balls on them. I really do. I think people don't realize how good Purdy's arm is in terms of the long ball, just because we haven't seen it that much. But the long balls that he has thrown, we've had success. So I just think I think it's extremely important that we do get him involved, and yeah, I think that's just one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about.
I love Ayuk. In fact, everybody should go to my YouTube channel and check out the interview I did yesterday with Ayuk. He's walking in the locker room, and he's got a big bowl of Cheerios. And I go up to him, I go, "Hey, man." And he gives me this look, and I'm like, "Is that regular or honey nut?" And he goes, he just goes, "Honey nut." And then I'm like, "Hey, man, can we do a couple minutes with you?" And he put down the honey nut, let him get a little soggy, and talked for a few minutes. Nothing but respect for Ayuk, but I think he's going off. I like the Niners to win this game, and here's why. Aziz, Warner, and Greenlaw are dominant, and they will cause turnovers, stuff the run, and make big plays. The Niner 3 linebackers are going to win it for them. And then they're, to me, easily the most dominant unit on the football field that nobody talks about. And then Kyle Shanahan's experience, I think, is going to be a major factor as well. Couple things I want to hit on the chat. Lou Marston says, "Larry, Cub Scout Pack 351. Yes, that was my Cub Scout pack back at Commodore Sloat. And then Lou says, Lou had another one here. He said, "Larry, do I have any concern? Is there anything I'm nervous about on Sunday?" I'm nervous about not getting a lot done on first and second down, falling into third and long. But I got total confidence in Brock Purdy to be able to handle the situation. I think he's going to keep his poise. I think he's going to play with a lot of competitiveness, a lot of fire. I think the Niners are going in there, and I think they're going to win. Kerry Hyder told me that there's like a bunch of guys on the team that actually prefer to play on the road than they do at home because of just the Saturday night bonding in the hotel, the singular focus on the game, on game day, not all the tickets and all the things that are going around. Wife, girlfriend, "Hey, I'm going. Should I wear this? Do I do that? Do I bring this person? You don't have any of that, right? You're on the road. You're a team bus, team hotel, team walkthrough. And so some guys prefer it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Hey, Larry, also, I just want to say, just to piggyback what you said off about our linebackers, I think also, too, people don't realize how good Fred Warner is in coverage, too. Kind of picking up coverage from, the slant receivers or, the wide receivers, or pretty much that play that he did against Dallas the last game where he picked up the coverage down the middle. I forgot I think was it CeeDee Lamb that he was covering down the middle. That just blew me away. That totally
Fred's on a different level right now. Coverage wise.
Yeah. And a lot of people, he's getting his love, but I think they're going to be extremely surprised on how well he is when he does get into those coverages, on how quickly he is.
I'm saying 23-17 Niners, 23-17, and I think they get I think the Niners get a defensive score.
Yeah, I think I'm going 24-21 Niners. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be a close game, and then the Niners are going to take the lead. Besides, say like 20. It'll be 24-14, and then the Eagles are going to try to take a late, get a late touchdown, but then the Niners are just going to hold them off. That's
Niners. Thanks for giving me the shout, man. Have a great Friday. Go Niners. And
you too. Take care, Larry. Thank you.
We're going live, and you see video calls, man. Jump in. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, definitely will do. I've been watching you for the last couple of weeks, honestly, every night. So I appreciate you, coming on here. I've listened to you on the radio, and seen your commentary for many, many years, and I just appreciate you coming on YouTube. And I'll definitely continue giving the support. And I hope everyone else does as well.
Check me out Sunday morning or Sunday. Let's see what time. Yeah, Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I think at 10 a.m. on 95.7 The Game with Low Neal. We're doing a little pregame. Niners there. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely will do. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate your time.
Have a good one. There we go. There we go. One super chat here from Emily Pasqua. Thank you, Emily. You're putting out great content, Larry. Keep it up. You have amazing player interviews too. Go Niners, quest for 6. I'll say this. I love the Niner interviews that we're doing. I really do. I love going in there and talking to the guys. The best interviews that I do start with like, hey man, where are you from? You know what I mean? That's like as opposed to, maybe asking them specifics about the game, but then we'll get into it. I thought the one I did this week with Ray, where he talked about his fumble and then like his mindset and how he feels about it, how he looked at it, how he recovered from it, how he had the 53-yarder afterwards. I thought that was really good stuff. I mean, I did. Let me go CJ here. CJ Gray joins us with the Niner beanie. I like that. Hey CJ, how are you, man?
What's going on, Larry? Been watching you since you've launched. I really like your content a lot. I think you have real insightful views.
Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Are you a Bay guy? Are you from somewhere else?
Actually, I've lived on the East Coast my entire life. I became a Niner fan in '88 as a bandwagoner, as a 7-year-old. When I seen them win the Super Bowl 23 was the first game that I really remember watching with my dad.
What a game.
And Joe Montana threw the game winning touchdown pass, and right then and there I said, I'm with the Niners. And that was
You're riding with John Taylor.
And it's been that way for 34 years since.
Very cool.
I currently live in North Carolina, in Greenville. I plan on driving 6.5 hours to Philadelphia on Sunday morning.
Are you? Look at that. I'm giving you the clap right there. Now that's dedication, man. You're getting in the car.
In the car.
6 hours?
6 hours.
Just straight freeway driving, pretty easy?
Straight freeway, straight up I-95.
What are the tickets going to run you? Do you got them yet?
Yeah, I already have my ticket.
What is that? What did you pay, if I could ask?
It's about $1,000 for my ticket. So
wow.
Yeah, I paid.
That's cool though, man.
I slapped the money down. I'm driving there, and
will you represent a jersey? What are you going to wear? Because there was a lot of debate today going. People saying, well, if you're, will you have the courage to wear your Niner colors in the stadium? I mean, come on. I think you can wear your Niner colors. You just don't be an idiot talking trash to everybody.
Yeah. I'm just there to watch the game. I'm not there to talk trash to these people, because especially a team that I really respect. I really respect their team. I really respect their organization, what they got going on. And it's very cool to see from an outside looking in especially Jalen Hurts. I've been following him since Alabama and seen him lose his job in the championship game, and then him grinding as a backup and then getting another job in Oklahoma and then doing well with that team. Came in the NFL. He's only thrown 52% completions. Then it went up to, I think, 60%. Now he's at 66%. I really admire somebody who really grinds and get it out of the mud and really work for it. And from that standpoint, I admire Jalen Hurts.
I admire him too. I hope he goes down this weekend though.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I can't really pull for him this weekend. I hope that he has a game that's uncommon for him during the course of this year, and it's a little down game, and he's a little nervous. He does something that he doesn't normally do, and it gives us the advantage, because honestly and truthfully, I see us as the underdog in this game. Yeah. I see them.
Well, they are.
I see them being as more of a complete team than we have overall. But it's any given Sunday, man. They put the pads on, and it's who's more hungry for it on game day, who doesn't make the mistakes on game day, who doesn't turn the ball over, and then you just roll it out there and you see what happens. I'm hoping to go up there and witness history of a rookie quarterback going to the Super Bowl for the first time in the history of the game, and then seeing my team pull off and win an upset road win, and that nobody in the national media is giving us a chance for. Philly fans have been obnoxious in all the social media spaces, talking about that we shouldn't even show up. So, so I just hope that we can get it on. And if we don't come out on top, then it's it's one of my greatest life experiences being able to go to a game of this.
Oh, exactly, man. I mean, you know what? You'll have a good old time, and you know what? But I think the Niners are getting it done. You know, the one thing about the 49ers is they got a lot of swagger as a team. They got a lot of confidence as a team. There's a lot of talent in that room. They know it. They played in the Super Bowl, most of these guys. They were just in this game last year. They will not play. They will not shrink in the moment. You know, they're not going to be. It's not going to be like last week where Philly gets out to a 14-0 lead and it's basically over. No, it's not going down that way. The 49ers will fight. They will claw. They'll make it a game. It'll be a game. I don't know if they'll win, but they'll make it a game.
Yeah, and I think we're going to go to Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian hasn't practiced that much all week. Christian got a light workload last week. It won't that real extensive of one. I think I see a 25 carry game for Christian McCaffrey, just like the NFC West division.
Sure. I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I'd like to see the Niners early in this game get touches for Ayuk and Ray and Debo without putting it in the air. I'd like to see the Niner receivers running with the ball to see if they can develop some big plays and keep it out of the air just in the first couple series, just to, avoid the chance of the interception. I'd like to see them have a run heavy plan, but with some wide receiver runs to just loosen things up and make Philly have to defend the width of the field and then start hitting them with the Brock daggers down the middle. That's what I see. I want to see Ayuk on an end around or a shovel pass to Debo. I want to see these guys running with the ball because I think some of their better players are their receivers. I think the Niners have better weapons. And I definitely think the other thing, advantage 49ers, the Niners take the ball away and their defense, the Philly offensive line is awesome. They're big and they're strong and they're physical. And if it gets into we're fighting this out in a phone booth, I'll take them. But the Niner defensive front is so much faster, so much quicker that I think there's going to be penetration opportunities. I think there's going to be stunting. I think D'Amico's going to throw the kitchen sink. And I think the quickness edge that the Niners have across the board is going to win the day. And then the Niner linebackers, I think, are going to cause big plays. So, CJ, I'll let you jump, man, because we got other people want to jump in here. But thanks for following us. And anytime we're streaming, feel free to jump in, and we'd love to get your input.
All right. I appreciate you for having me on, Larry. You do
Thanks,
a great
CJ.
job.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
There you go, CJ. Now, that's cool. CJ is going to be on the road with the Niners. All right, we go to Jay Hutch, who's driving around Murfreesboro, Tennessee right now illegally with a camera filming him. Jay Hutch, how's your day going?
It's going all right. Just working. I'm in a slow traffic lane right now. So
where are you go? What are you doing? Do you drive for work?
Yeah, because remember I told you I serve papers, so I'm driving.
That's right. So we serving a bad guy today, or just a kind of a delinquent?
Oh no, mostly what I serve is debt collection. It's like 90%.
So how much is this person behind?
For banks. The most I've ever.
How much does this person owe, Jay Hutch?
The most I've ever seen was 100.
Okay. Your audio's a little glitchy because you're driving.
Yeah, I said the
Give
most.
Give us your prediction on the game. Give us your prediction on the game on Sunday.
24-14. Niners.
24-14. Who's the star? Who's the star?
Debo.
There you go. All right, Jay Hutch. Good seeing you, brother. We're gonna let you go just because you're glitchy a little bit, but thank you, man. We're streaming tonight after Warriors Raptors. Check us out.
All right, I'll be there.
There you go. The great Jay Hutch, the mayor of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, do we go to Alan? Alan, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, man. What's up?
Where you coming to us from?
From Merced.
Terrific. Well,
Yeah.
I like that hat, man. What is that
Yeah,
hat?
thank you. When you said you're gonna let people call in, I rushed to go put a bunch of gear on real quick. So just trying to get everybody pumped up, manifest a victory this weekend for our Niners. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. What's your prediction on the game? What's your thought on it?
Yeah, man, I have no idea. My thoughts. I'm nervous as hell. Fingers crossed. If I'm gonna throw a score out there, I was just trying to come up with one right now. I'm gonna say 24-17 Niners, just because I'm a homer.
Yeah, I'm going 23-17. I think that, it's not necessarily homer call. I mean, I think the Niners have as good a talent as the Eagles. I mean, the 49ers, I don't know how you want to evaluate this thing, but they played 5 common opponents: Washington, Arizona, Dallas, Chicago, and New Orleans. The Eagles against those teams went 4-3, and they outscored those teams by 6 points. The Niners against those teams went 5-1, and they outscored those teams by 101 points. The 49ers are plus 95 points higher than the Eagles against common opponents this year. Just saying.
Right on. Sounds good to me. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Who's the key guy? Who's the star on Sunday?
Offense, defense, or what do you mean, the whole team?
Yeah, just anybody. We both like the Niners to win the game. I think they're going to win on the strength of Shanahan, the poise of Brock Purdy, and the athleticism and dominance of the Niner 3 linebackers. I think that wins the game for the 49ers. Who do you like? I mean, you already told us you like the Niners. Give us your reason.
Okay, so for sure, the coaching experience of Shanahan over Sirianni, for sure. And then I liked when I heard that you guys said that earlier. I've heard that a couple times, I think, on Grant's channel too. But yeah, so for sure the coaching experience. And then, if we're gonna win, CMC's got to have a big game. He's usually a big part of the reason why we're winning a lot of these games. So, and I expect a lot from him catching. When I say that more than passing, we need some good clutch catches from him, which I'm expecting.
David Douglas says your bandana is fire.
Yeah.
What is that bandana? What's on the front of that?
It's the the little bang bang. This is the Niners' first logo. I don't know what the official name for it was. I forgot.
Nice.
It was just a patch. I ordered it on eBay, put it on this gold bandana I have, and I put it on my face and get a little crazy on game day.
Where will you be watching on game day?
Oh, from my house. I'm not rich, so I can't make it there.
That's all right. Hey, you kidding me? We're all watching from our house. Who you for? But what, you got any game day superstitions or anything that you'll do special? Will you cook something special? Will you do you have any superstitions that you abide by on game day? What are they?
So this season, as far as a superstition, I got 3 songs. I make sure I play while I'm cooking. I have to cook every game day. Got to smell some charcoal. This week I'm going ribs, but I usually do ribs, brisket, pulled pork. I'm actually going to start a little side business for selling the ribs this weekend. I got my first order to do on Saturday. Yeah. Thank you. So cool. We have
pork ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, right?
Pork ribs. Yeah, I made beef ribs one time. Not really my thing. I don't know. I like the pork ribs. They have more meat on them.
Yeah.
Beef's a lot of bone,
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, my daughter's here. Hey, Ella, come here.
Is she a big Niner fan too?
Big Niner fan.
Can you say "Go Niners"?
Niners. Yeah. So she watches every game with me. We get pumped up.
Yes.
And, we do our thing. Have fun, man. So,
Alan, I'm gonna let you go, brother. But go Niners. Enjoy your daughter. Enjoy your ribs. Good luck to you. Hey, anytime we're live streaming, we go calls. If I see you're in there, we'll get you in.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, man. Love the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you. The great Alan from basically NorCal hanging out. We got people around the country, and then we got people in the Bay Area. I see Digital Drew hanging out, but GTC Reels, we'll add him first. GTC Reels has been with us for quite a while. This is our first face-to-face encounter with Mr. Reels. GTC, how are you?
Second, actually. I think when you first called in. Yeah, I called in.
Oh, no. Okay, you called in. Okay, yeah, but you've never actually been on video. This is the first video call. So GTC, what's your thoughts on the Niners?
I'm really nervous too, but I'm hoping for the best. I think my X factor would probably be Ray. I see some jet sweeps going.
Okay, I like that idea.
I think if you spread them out side to side, wear down that defense. Their linebackers aren't that, they're not that fast, but they are good. And then maybe pound them in with Jordan Mason if Kyle ever decides to use him. My God.
Yeah, well, I don't think Kyle's allowed to use Jordan Mason. Is that it says Tulare County hat? No, it's a Minnesota Twins hat, isn't it?
Nah, it's a Twins hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a Minnesota Twins hat.
Yeah.
Twin Cities. The C is for cities. Tulare County. Come on, GTC Rios. Where are you? What are you a NorCal guy? Where are you coming from?
Yep, San Francisco, man.
Okay, awesome. Are you native?
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
McAteer.
Mac. All right.
Yeah, I was
right there.
I was one of the very few watching sit down with Gary Radnich, and I was like, man, why are you watching that old dude? You should be out partying. But, hey, it's my sport, Jeez.
You had your priorities. Now,
Yeah.
what are you looking at right now? You play. It looks like you're like betting horses or something.
No, I got to close the accounting month, so.
Yeah. I got you. So you're working.
Yeah,
you're multitasking.
Yep.
So, give me your final score of the game.
Man, it keeps on fluctuating. I'm gonna say 21-16 Niners.
Okay,
but
we're all kind of thinking the same thing. Niners win, kind of a low scoring kind of a game.
I think so, man. But if they do control the time of possession, meaning the Niners, if they do have an effective run game, they have to average at least over 4.5 yards, in order for that to be effective. And like I said, if they stretch them out side to side, I just think the Niners have way too many offensive weapons, and I think
they have a lot of their weapons create a lot of space on the field for sure,
right?
And I think that space benefits Brock. And I think maybe one of the big questions is: do you see a great game for Brock, a non-factor game for Brock, kind of like last week? Some people would say, though I thought he made a number of good throws. Or do you see Brock having the first dud of his career?
I see
and any answer is fair because it's going to be a ton of pressure, man.
I see a Trent Dilfer type of Super Bowl performance.
Oh God.
Nothing.
Should we be nervous?
No,
Trent Dilfer won, but I mean it wasn't pretty.
I would say the run game is probably, if we can dial up the specific type of runs that could really gash this defense and wear them down, I don't see big numbers out of him. But if we don't control the time of possession, I could see or if we do actually control the time of possession, I could see the Eagles going downfield like really quick, and it could turn into a high scoring game. So it's one of two ways that it could happen. But I'm thinking it's going to be a defensive game. But
I think it's going to be a defensive game too. I like the under.
Yeah, I don't see very many mistakes with Brock Purdy. He does the right thing with the ball. I mean, he's gotten.
If you made me bet it, I'd take the Niners on the teaser with the under.
Yeah,
so it would be what is it? What is it right now? It's Philly by 2.5, 3.5.
The line keeps on fluctuating, but I'm not betting. Wait, I'm not.
You're not betting it. Nope. But I would tease the Niners with 7.5 point teaser and then tease it under. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I can't picture if the 49ers score a lot of points, I think the Eagles don't score a lot of points. So, and if the Eagles score a lot of points, I don't think the 49ers score a lot of points. I don't see a game where both sides score a lot of points. I think somebody's defense is going to win the day.
Yeah, I think Greenlaw probably will have a pretty big day along with Ward and Warner. I like Jimmy Ward.
I do too.
No why. I like him. I still contest he's probably the MVP of both of the playoff games for different reasons. I think that
late took out Pollard.
Yeah, I mean
that was the biggest play of the last game, taking out Pollard.
Yeah, and the Seattle game, I know why he actually did that late hit. He's not going to say it, but he was standing up for Brock because of that late hit on the out of bounds with Seattle.
I didn't even think about that. It's funny. If you go check out the interview that I did with Jimmy Ward on my YouTube channel, he talks about if you hit a guy in his patella, or if you hit a guy in his ribs, he doesn't play quite as hard. And I was just, I mean, I love Jimmy Ward, man. I mean, he's I used to work in the Canadian League for this defensive coordinator. And I remember he used to say, you know what? There's guys out there who play for the money. And then there's guys out there that play for the ring. And then he's like, Larry, let me tell you something. There's a percentage of guys that are out there and they don't care about the ring or the money. They're just trying to fuck somebody up. and it's really true. And I think in some ways, I think Jimmy Ward is out there trying to absolutely detonate on somebody. He loves to hit. And I know Greenlaw does too. Aziz does too. They're going to be flying at Hertz this weekend. Hopefully no penalties.
Hopefully. Yeah. Well, I'll just leave you guys with this, man. Cheers to the air fryer for Dan Coach Emilio. And I'll check you guys out later on tonight. I think the Warriors.
Yeah, we'll be on tonight after Warriors and Raptors. See you, GTC. There you go. GTC Reels. Now we go to Digital Drew. Oh, wait. I want to click Digital Drew. There he is. Digital Drew, how are you doing? How's your Friday? You're muted.
Sorry, how about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's Friday, man. I mean,
yeah. I like that hat, though. I like that Niner hat. Different Niner hat than you had the other day.
Same one, I think. I don't know. I got six or
maybe
seven of them lying around here. I don't know.
There you go.
So you already have my prediction from earlier in the week. I still think it's going to be 24-17, maybe 27-17 Niners. I think if they win, it might be around a 2-score game. But I was listening to you with Grant earlier, and there was a subject that came up that I kind of want to rehash a little bit. Is Brock the unquestioned starter for next year? I know that you both kind of settled on yes, but do you think Shanahan dips into the Walsh kind of thinking and keeps Lance around, keeps him close to this, really throws out the question like, well, we kind of, I don't know, maybe sort of. Do you think he takes that iron sharpens iron approach in the off season with this?
Well, it's interesting. It's like, I would say that Brock has done so much and Trey has so much potential that, that they probably will get a nice offer in trade to move Trey, and that they probably should just take it, because really, I think Trey's trade value goes down as soon as his representation demands a trade. And he would have a reason to demand a trade. It's time for him to play. He's not in pro football it's not Don Strock. He's not there to hold the clipboard. He's there to play football, and he needs to play. So I think everybody who cares about Trey is going to say Trey needs to get on the field. So, but then there's the cap issue, and it's like, there's a big cap hit on the 49ers if they trade Trey next year. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to solve itself. On the surface, you would just say, well, if all you care about and all you could think about was Niners, you say, well, yeah, have Trey come back and sit the bench behind Purdy. And then you got 2 young quarterbacks, both on rookie deals. You're in an absolute perfect spot, with your cap, and you can extend Bosa, and you've got the cheap quarterback room that maybe the cheapest in the league, and it's all great. But we all know that the quarterbacks have a little bit more clout than that, and Trey could easily demand a trade. And then if you're the 49ers, is Trey Lance at this point, knowing what he is as a player, as a young, talented player who needs to play to get better, is Trey Lance your ideal number 2 quarterback in the situation? I would say no, just because you got a young quarterback. I'd almost rather have a veteran quarterback there who could, like a Josh Johnson or somebody like that, but maybe even better, or somebody else in addition to Josh. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that a young quarterback that really just needs reps is going to benefit playing behind a quarterback who's 24 years old next year and is getting all the first team reps. And I don't know that I'd want to wait around to be surprised by a trade demand either. So if I'm John Lynch, I'm talking it over with Trey's representation and his family, and figuring out through Parag what way they could move him and what they could potentially get in return. And then also I'm thinking, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, man, if I can turn Trey Lance into a mid-first round pick and get a tight end like that kid Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, and you've got the double tight end set now that includes Mayer and Kittle, I mean, you could add a piece to the puzzle or two pieces to the puzzle that could wind up being, making you a mini dynasty over the next 5 or 6 years. So the thing about Trey, and I know this is a long-winded way of answering this, but the thing about Trey is that Trey doesn't really fit the Trent Williams timeline. And Trent Williams is one of your foundation piece players. And one of the reasons the locker room is what it is because they're going for it now. And guys like Trent Williams know that. And that's why he's here. So if all of a sudden you're like, we're going to tuck it away and go for it in 3 years because we think it's going to take that long for Trey to develop, I think Trent and other veterans in that room, aren't going to go for that. I don't know if they're going to revolt or, go on strike or be verbal about it, but I don't think they want that. So I don't think Trey it fits their timeline.
Yeah, you did see some of that in the early season, right? I don't think the locker room was really bought in. One of the issues was it looks like Lance was given the job instead of earning it. So I think that cost him a little bit with the vet players. But I never understood the Niners taking a project or somebody with a lot of upside that was going to take development when they had a roster and a situation where they're in a win now kind of situation. I didn't understand it. Brock steps in. Obviously, it's an embarrassment of riches.
I think what happened in that situation was that they looked at Trey as with the traits that he had possessed and then said, if we take a quarterback that possesses the highest of high-end traits across the board, he's smart, he's athletic, football's important to him. Those are the three big ones. And then we give him the best. So we're taking the best prospect and we put him through the best process, which they believe, I think, is what Mahomes went through with Andy Reid, where he sat for a year and took over in year 2. I think their thinking was very logical, which is get the best prospect on paper, put him through the best developmental process, surround him with great talent and a great play caller, and it will all just come together. But in reality, that's a little bit more of the belief that great quarterbacks are made and not born. And many of us believe that these great quarterbacks are they have more innate traits that ultimately lead to it. And it's not necessarily about the coaching. So, I mean, I think Brock Purdy, but it is about coaching, but it's also about development and this and that. Brock Purdy's just a lot more developed. He's ready to play right now, and the team's ready to win right now. So there's no chance in hell they're going to say, you know what, we got a young quarterback who's ready to play good ball right now, but and we got a roster full of guys who are ready to win right now, but we're going to throw all that away, and we're going to, because we drafted Trey, and we can't be wrong. No, I don't see that. I see a trade coming.
And he was even hinting on Instagram, right? Of maybe Tennessee.
Maybe Tennessee. I mean, I would take Treylon Burks in their number 1 pick. I would take, Indianapolis. MF says Colts had a high grade on Trey. I saw that they had their highest draft designation was attached to Trey. So maybe the Colts have interest. I mean, believe me, there will be interest. Why? Because everybody in the NFL sees exactly what the Niners see, which is that he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he wants to be good. It's important to him. Is he there yet? No. But guess what? He's an awesome prospect on paper, and that hasn't changed since he was drafted. So there will be a couple teams that will be like, we need somebody who's ready now. They don't want to invest. But there'll be other, none of these quarterbacks in the draft are a slam dunk either this year. The kid from Bama's tiny. It's you just, I think there'll be a market for Trey if and when the Niners do want to move him. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. Staying on the quarterback situation, but kind of shifting gears a little bit. I know earlier in your shows in the week, you had mentioned some national media that was throwing some shade at Purdy. Like, no matter what he does, he is not going to get any kind of respect. Even though 5 of the 7 opponents that he has faced are playoff teams. Seattle
Right.
twice, Miami, so he's not doing this against nobodies. Why does it feel like the national media just simply doesn't want to give Brock their blessing, or kind of give him any kind of credit whatsoever? It seems like there's some that do, but there's some that are absolutely will not give him an ounce of credit. Like again, they need, we haven't blessed him yet, so we're not going to treat him as such, even though
I know. So
he's in the championship game. Explain
First of all, there's a lot of stupid fucking people that have microphones in front of their faces. There's that. Okay. There's also people that are there in their jobs for reasons that have nothing to do with football evaluation. So their football evaluation skills are just kind of like, what the hell are you even talking about? So you got a combination of things. Then, I also think it's because he's not 6'5". People are always looking for if he was 6'5" or ran 4.3 or had a rocket for an arm, and there was something real tangible to his greatness, they'd be like, hey man, that guy in San Francisco is great. Instead, there's too much nuance to what makes him good. They don't want to think that hard. So they're just like, Kyle Shanahan's great with any quarterback. And in the middle of your super soft take, you're also fucking wrong. Because he wasn't great. He was 9-29 with all quarterbacks that weren't Jimmy Garoppolo until Brock Purdy showed up. So that it's not like Shanahan can make any quarterback great. He didn't make Hoyer great. He didn't make Beathard great. He didn't make Mullins great. He didn't make anybody great outside of Jimmy Garoppolo until Brock Purdy showed up. So enough of this. It's Shanahan. It ain't Shanahan. Shanahan's a great play caller, great play sequencer, a really, really great a ruthless play caller of NFL plays. But he's not a quarterback whisperer. He's not some quarterback developer. He's not Mike Holmgren or Bill Walsh. He's a play caller who's just never had the right quarterback. Now he's got a quarterback. Did he coach up Brock Purdy? A little bit. But and Brock's going to give him all the credit in the world, I'm sure. But Brock Purdy made 46 or 47 collegiate starts and was pretty developed. And he is what he is. I thought in a lot of ways Shanahan kind of called his own bluff by drafting Trey Lance, because he drafted a player that had traits but needed coaching. And it's like, are you the coach to coach him through these rough moments? Or are you an awesome play caller and an awesome play designer and sequencer who's going to help him have success once he's mastered a lot of the traits that he needs? So, I do think that there's just a lot of people out there. It was this Joy Taylor on one of these shows who was like, Brock Purdy did nothing last week. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? He just played one of the fastest defenses in the Dallas Cowboys. He at no point in any way cowered in any point of that game. He was in total control. He outplayed a quarterback who makes $40+ million a year. He had 0 turnovers, 0 fumbles, 0 interceptions. He had very many throws where he smartly threw it away, evaded the rush, threw it into the turf. He managed that game like a pro, like he has since the beginning. And if you don't understand the nuances, that's fine. Just say that. Just say, you know what? There's a lot of nuances to the position. I don't really know what I'm talking about, so I don't understand any of those nuances. But to me, he wasn't overly impressive. Instead, you come out on a national television cable show and say that he did nothing impressive last week. You're embarrassing yourself, and you're showing your incredible ignorance with that statement. So that's all I would say about it. No offense to any of those people. I don't dislike Joy Taylor, but it is going to be fun next year or next week when the Niners win this game. And it's not going to be some, 5 throws run game. It's going to be Brock Purdy throwing it a lot, and people are going to have to backtrack, including her. So Monday should be fun.
Yeah. And there's even a bit more irony there, Larry, is because that comment came on the back of saying Dak beat himself. Dak let them down. His mistakes is what cost Dallas the game. And then you turn to Brock and you're like, well, he didn't make any mistakes. Yeah, but he didn't really do anything. So, well, he didn't fuck up How about
Right.
that?
Here's the thing. Tom Brady has made a career out of avoiding negative plays. Making plays is the goal, but avoiding negative plays has got to be goal number 2.
Yeah,
and nobody
exactly.
ever talks about that. Nobody ever says, everybody's like, make a play, go make a play, make a play. Here's what Brock Purdy's got going right now that nobody talks about. Every quarterback in the NFL has to balance every game the desire to be aggressive and take shots and fit it into windows and go for it with be safe with the ball, don't turn it over, don't cost us the game, don't, have a bunch of negative plays that kill our team. You have to balance that. The whole job is the balancing of, can I make this play versus I can't make this play, I'm throwing the ball away. That is the job. And right now, Brock Purdy, Derek Carr can't get his dial turned to the right spot. It's like he either goes for it and throws stupid picks, and he goes and he makes plays he shouldn't make, or he just throws it into the ground on 4th down when he should try to make a play. And he never has understood the balance between make a play and be safe. Brock Purdy has right now like a master's level balancing act going on right now between go for it and take care of the ball. And when you're in that spot, you're in a great spot and you can win any game. And so we'll see what he looks like Sunday, but he hasn't turned it over. He hasn't bowed to the pressure, and he has consistently looked downfield and made plays and won games. So that's the gig. That's the job.
If anybody has been watching Niner football long enough to see Montana play, or even more recently, a similar kind of play style is Brady. It's the subtle art of, I'm not going to try to force it on 1st and 10. There's always 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. They will catch up. They will kill you. And Montana was an expert at throwing it out of bounds on a 1st and 10. It just wasn't there. The timing wasn't right. The defense wasn't right. And then on 2nd and 10, he hits a 6-yard slant to Rice, who takes it to the house because he set it up. He limited his mistakes. Both Montana does that. Brady does that. And Purdy, for the first time, probably since Steve Young, have the Niners had a quarterback who values that, who understands that, who has the football IQ, the experience to kind of settle back in the pocket and be okay saying, nope, I'm not here for my stats. I'm going to chuck it. It's okay. The W is everything to him. So, and it comes out in his play.
And it's such the balancing act. You got to take shots. You got to be aggressive. But then there's other plays you got to throw it away. You got to move on to the next down. Cookie Monster says, Larry, why is the national media acting like the Niners should just lay down and forfeit the game or something? I understand that both teams are nearly matched with the Eagles having a slight advantage, but I trust Kyle. Yeah, I mean, the national media is in the Northeast largely, and the Eagles are a Northeast product. So in their minds, they're, the second coming of the greatest team of all time. The Niners in head-to-head competition have done better against the Eagles. The other thing is when you look under pressure, Brock Purdy when under pressure this year is 66.1 quarterback rating. That's 4th in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, when pressured this year, 65.2 quarterback rating, 20th in the NFL. Something tells me the 49er front may be able to pressure Jalen Hurts. And if they can't, they probably don't deserve to win. Now, GTC Reels says, let's go 49ers with the donation. GTC, we do appreciate that. And we appreciate you jumping on the show. I actually think Purdy's going to outplay Hurts. I think that's going to be one of the reasons the 49ers win this game. I think Hurts is a tremendous player, but if you said, what is the absolute key to this game? It's one is always going to be turnovers. 2, it's going to be the play of the quarterback. But right there in the holy trinity, it's got to be who gets into manageable 3rd downs. Because if the Niners are sitting there trying to play defense against Jalen Hurts and it's 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 all day long, guess what? Jalen Hurts is going to win the game. I mean, there's too much. They can do too many things. They can put too much pressure on you. They're too difficult to defend. if it's all day, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. He can keep it. He can hand it off. They got a tremendous run blocking offensive line. He's got all kinds of weapons. They can't get to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. It's for the Niners defensively. When they get to 3rd down, it's got to be 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. And then it's advantage 49ers. And on the other side of the ball, it's the exact same thing. The 49ers can get to 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. And now you've got run pass option and Kyle's got play action. The Niners have to stay within an arm's distance on the scoreboard and on the chains. They can't get to 2nd and 24. They can't get to 3rd and 19. They're going to lose if they get to 3rd and 19. That's how I see it. I see 1st and 2nd down being absolutely crucial in this game.
Yeah, I agree entirely with you, and mainly because 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, even 3rd and 4. That's way too easy for a guy with Hurts wheels to get out of the pocket, run up a couple of yards, take a slide, get the 1st down, and just continue those drives. They do have a big strike offense, but they also lean into their run game quite a bit. I think, if you look at how some of the games have played out, they get ahead early with the pass game and then they lean on the run. If the Niners find themselves in a position going into halftime down, it's going to be a really, really tough uphill battle to climb back into that game. You might as well call them Sisyphus. They are going to be pushing a big boulder up a hill for a long time.
Watch it roll all the way back down. Brock Purdy. Now, this is another thing to remember. This Brock Purdy didn't do anything impressive last week. Brock Purdy against Dallas last week was under pressure on 48.5% of his dropbacks. That's the most of any Niner quarterback since the 2020 season. And he didn't turn the ball over. And when he was kept clean, he went 15 of 17 for 159 yards. So I'm not saying he's going to do that again. I'm just saying Dallas had some success pressuring him last week, and he responded to the pressure. And when he wasn't pressured, he carved them up. The other thing on Purdy and we've got this one in the chat about we're disrespecting Hurts. Chief says y'all mad disrespecting the baby goat, Jalen Hurts. Okay, so we gave you his Hurts's his percentage or his quarterback rating under pressure, but it's also kind of interesting. This one also kind of jumped out at me. Where is the others? There was one other strength that's no, here it is. This is kind of interesting too. The Eagles pass D. Okay, now I'm not disrespecting Hurts. I just think Hurts has a great surrounding cast, and their strength of schedule is the worst in football. I mean, if you said what's the Eagles' best win of the year, what is the Eagles' best win of the year? They beat Detroit at Detroit. They beat the Vikings at home. They beat Washington on the road. They beat Jacksonville by 8 at home. They eked out a win against Arizona on the road, 20-17. They beat Dallas at home.
Vikings, maybe?
They beat Pittsburgh at home. They beat Houston on the road. They lost to Washington. They beat Indy. They beat Green Bay at home. They beat Indy in Indy by 1 point. They played terrible in that game. They beat Tennessee by 25 at home. They beat the New York Giants on the road. They beat the Bears. They lost at Dallas. They lost to the Saints, and then they just beat the Giants in the playoffs. I mean, who's the best team they played?
Probably the Cowboys. Probably the Cowboys, right? And
they won one and they lost one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess the Cowboys, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not a stellar schedule. Look at that schedule. I mean, that's not. There's no Kansas City on that schedule. There's no Buffalo on that schedule.
Well, they did beat the Vikings pretty well, right?
They beat the Vikings 24-7 in week 2 on a Monday night.
But what's probably more telling than that is losing to the Commanders at home, 32-21, getting into, a boat race with the Packers. The Packers were not a good team this year, and neither were the Bears, and they barely eked it out in those games. So, as good as the Eagles are, well, was that without Hurts in that game against the Bears? It might have been. They get a pass on
Hurts
that
was
one.
there. Hurts was there. He threw for 315 yards in that game.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Hurts missed week 16 and 17 against Dallas, and he also missed in New Orleans. Those were Minshew games.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think Jalen Hurts has had a tremendous year, and I think he's really dangerous in certain situations, especially in short yardage when you have this read option at his disposal and he can hold that mesh point and, put a ton of pressure on the defense. Here's one thing to consider, though. It's another thing I think people saying, oh, the Eagles defense. The Eagles had 70 sacks. But if you look closely at it, they had 3 games where they just had a boatload of sacks.
Yeah.
They had 23 sacks in 3 games.
And most of them came very late in the year.
14.
Yeah, it came very late in the year as well. It was the tail end of the schedule. And what that reads to me is when Hurts went out, much like, D'Amico would do this, is they had to lean on the defense to keep these games really close. So I think they were taking a lot more risk on defense. So they were sending blitzes. They were operating outside of their defensive norm against a lot of teams. And I think a lot of teams just were caught off guard. Not saying that they're bad by any stretch, but it might have been kind of what Dallas did to the Niners last week, where they changed their entire defensive scheme. Teams just got caught flat-footed against that.
One interesting thing on Brock Purdy, this season, he's 24 of 28 for 438 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick on intermediate throws, which they deem between 10 and 19 yards between the hashes. So that's where he's just totally dominant. And I would imagine the Eagles will flood that part of the field with defenders. But that should be interesting to see if he can still, make plays with the ball. The Niners also have been taking care of the football at an incredible rate. They've won 12 games in a row, and they have 12 straight games with 1 or fewer turnovers. So, that's had as much to do with their success as anything. But this is the one that really jumps out to me. This is the Eagles pass D against no pre-snap motion, because we know the Niners, Shanahan loves him some pre-snap motion. The Eagles, when there's no pre-snap motion, number 1 in the NFL. When the Eagles teams that they're going up against, opposing offenses do use pre-snap motion, they are 22nd in the NFL. And now here come the Niners, who are number 1 in terms of pre-snap motion percentage or pre-snap motion rate in the NFL. So here comes a ton of pre-snap motion, and they were 22nd at defending it this year. So, we'll see. There's a lot of playmakers in that secondary. There's a lot of playmakers on their front line. Eagles are a really good football team. I think their offensive line, to me, I look at it this way. If the Eagles can run the ball on the Niners, the Eagles are going to win because their line is too big, too physical, and it's too much. But if the Niners can stop, the Niners are number 1 in the league against the run. If they stop the Eagles' run and force the Eagles to pass and get Hurts into passing situations, the quickness factor that the 49ers have on their defensive front line with Ebukam, Armstead, Bosa, Jordan Willis, Kevin Givens, Amenahue, Kerry Hyder, they're a lot quicker than the Eagles' offensive line. And I think they're going to knife through and wreak havoc. And I'll stay with my prediction. I like the Niner linebackers to rule the day and Shanahan to outcoach Sirianni. And I think the Niners I think it's going to be hard fought. And I think it'll be kind of a messy, mucked up, low scoring game. But I'm thinking 23-17 49ers. We'll see.
Pretty good guess. The other thing is San Francisco runs a lot of zone. And I saw some stats earlier in the week that Philly does not pass all that well against zone. I know Hurts has only thrown 6 interceptions, but I think all of them were into zone coverages. And I know A.J. Brown can sit in his zone pretty well. But what's his name? Devonta Smith, he just disappears in zone coverages. So look for that as well, which might put a lot of burden on Charvarius Ward to cover up AJ Brown or stick with him in those situations, or playing, I think you said earlier in the week also, they don't do well, in safety high situations. So
right.
real
The
curious.
Eagles struggle in the cover against cover 3 a little bit. And now you got Afonga, who's, I think, an awesome player at attacking the mesh point. I think Afonga could be a real key guy as far as stopping the Eagles' run game. But it's going to put a lot of pressure on the rest of the secondary if they go single high with Gibson as the kind of the ball hawk down the field. It'll be a very good sign if Tayshaun Gibson, gets a pick or two, because that means that,
For sure.
Hurts isn't seeing it. He's taking chances, and Gibson's a ball hawk and opportunistic and hanging out in the middle of the field. This one's kind of interesting. He says, Mark Lopez says, Larry, how do you feel about the speed difference between Dallas's D-line and Philly's? How much of a factor do you think that will play in the 49er run game? I think the Dallas D-line's faster than the Eagles D-line. The Eagles D-line has Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is a monster run stuffer. And Linval Joseph, I mean, he is really slow. Neither of those guys are rushing the passer. The guys you got to worry about with the Eagles are Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, obviously Hassan Reddick. He's coming flying at the quarterback. Those are the guys. And Reddick does have a lot of speed. There's no question. But the Niners have gone up a lot against Reddick. Reddick was in the division with the Arizona Cardinals. They've seen a lot of him. So I bet you the Niner tackles have a pretty good idea of how to block Hassan Reddick. I think my biggest concern with the Eagles is the Niners throwing east-west hitches and screens, and James Bradbury shooting gaps and picking them off. We saw one last week where Bradbury, who's a veteran corner, really smart, does his homework, is in his playbook, knows his, watches his cut-up films, and is as smart as they get. He's having the best year of his career. And he came away with a pick last week against the Giants where he read the quarterback and he trusted his instincts, and there was no hesitation, and he just shot it through and made the pick. I'm worried about that because Purdy throws, he'll let it go. As Shanahan says, Purdy will let it rip. He will let it rip, but Bradbury will let it rip on the other side. And I could see Bradbury getting his hands on a Purdy pass, especially if it's an east-west pass to the sideline. I think he's going to be looking for that. I think he's going to, let's just say this. If Purdy throws a hitch, he better have something on it. He better have something on it. It better be low, and it better be on target, and Bradbury better be nowhere near. Bradbury's reading plays so aggressively that if I'm the 49ers, if I get a sense on the first drive that he's jumping routes, I'm backdooring him like Pete Carrill and Princeton. I'm absolutely pump and go against Bradbury and sneak backdoor against him, because I sensed watching him at the end of the year that he's selling out in certain situations for the pick, and he's not reading it. He's looking down in distance. He's knowing his situation. He's knowing his formation. He's all up in his scouting report, and he's smart, and he's breaking on the ball. So, don't think that he's not going to break until you throw it. He may break before you throw it. And, in a game like this, it could come down to one play like that.
Yeah. At some point, they're going to stop dropping those picks. Purdy has to think that at some point your luck will run out. They are going to start holding on to those picks. So be smart with the ball. But on the jumping routes, that does open up the double move. And we've seen Shanahan recently incorporating that more in there. We saw it with Ayuk, grabbing, just completely juking a guy out of his shorts on a double move. We've seen, Debo do double moves across the middle, or leak out into the flat. There are ways to take advantage of people getting, very aggressive on these. And, the Niners with zone run, the Niners with their flat game over the middle passes, I think they'll make them pay. But it wouldn't shock me to see one turnover early just kind of remembering like, hey, this is all about execution. This is all about, protect the ball. Don't do that. And I think they can get away with one, but if they have multiple, forget it.
Yeah, Scotty does know, donates. He says Eagles' second easiest schedule in the NFL. Yeah, no question about that. Chief says my first word was Eagles. Hey, here's your second word. Goodbye. All right, that's going to do it for us.
Yeah. Cool, man.
You know what? Digital Drew, where are you watching the game from Sunday?
Chicago, right here
somewhere?
in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, just right in the house.
Do you have any game day tradition? Will you cook up some wings or chili or some New York style Italian sausage or
I just kind of make a cup of coffee. Yeah, there's some local brews out here that I like to go to. Like Revolution Brewing has this beer called Anti-Hero. Like to have one of those in the first half, one of those in the second half. I always get I call it football food. Give me some gross, greasy ass wings that I can just, hoover at halftime. And normally everybody else just leaves the room. They're like, it's football time. Get out of the room. Leave him alone. Don't talk to him.
Nothing to see here.
So it's just me and the giant TV downstairs. And it's just, but at about like 9 o'clock in the morning, my time, playoff day, I don't know what to do with myself. Do you find yourself to just kind of pacing around the house? Like, okay, I guess I'll play some games. God, what am I going to do? Just get to the game already. It's so nerve-wracking.
Watch the pregame, like when it goes on and on and on and on and on. I just can't. I'm almost glad that I do my own pregame, so I don't have to watch some of the TV pregame. But by the way, we should mention this as we're doing today's show. We have eclipsed 12,000 subs. Just now, we just went over 12,000 subs. So there you go. 12,006 total subscribers. We've added over 2,500 subscribers in the last 28 days. G-Code Travels Vlog says, would you interview Draft 23, Draftee, and SF Local Workout? Who's Draft 23? Would I interview? Who's 23 for the Niners?
That's McCaffrey.
Is that McCaffrey?
Yep.
I would interview McCaffrey, except McCaffrey's so hard to interview because everybody wants to talk to him, and all the international media are like McCaffrey. But yeah, I will try. I would absolutely try. And if the Niners go to win this game and go to the Super Bowl, we are off to Arizona. We're finalizing our plans. We're gonna have a New York style Italian sausage road trip to Arizona, and it's gonna be epic. We're already getting the rental van and the whole deal. So we'll have more details forthcoming on that if the Niners win on Sunday in our post-game live stream. But Digital Drew will let you go. Go Niners. Enjoy the weekend. Anytime we go live, you're always welcome to jump in. And have a great rest of your Friday and rest of your weekend.
Take care, man.
Take care. The great Digital Drew. We got this one, too, from G-Code Travels Vlog. NFL Draft 2023 draftees. Absolutely. We'll get a lot of those guys on. And I'm going to do a lot of draft, who are my favorite guys in the draft all throughout the springtime. So if you haven't locked onto this channel yet, you're going to get a ton of cool draft videos between now and the April NFL draft. You can bank on that. This one from James Gregory, 12,000 subs on the way to 49,000. Thank you to everybody, by the way. Thank you to Telmetrics. Thank you to Danny, Coach Emilio. Thank you to New York Style Italian Sausage, Len Dempsey, my son, Kevin Krueger, and Ned Coletti, and Ryan Smith, and Danny, and Cyrus, and Kylan. Tonight, by the way, we're back live again talking Niner football and Warrior basketball. Warriors get the Raptors tonight at Chase. We're coming on afterwards. Kylan Mills from Cron and the great Cyrus Satsis will be joining us, as will Danny and Rye. We'll play some Niner interviews. We'll talk a lot of Niners Eagles. We'll talk a lot of Warriors. That coming up. Also trying to chase down Steve Young for a little conversation as well. Don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully we'll get that done either today or the next couple days. Hope everybody's loving the content. We just posted a Diamador Lenore video. That's pretty cool. There's one of Lenore. I did an interview with Lenore, but then also Lenore had that pick last week against Dallas and then ran into the end zone. And there was this little kid who like had a Niner jersey and he kind of ran up on Lenore, and Lenore was running over to the side looking for his family. Anyway, I asked Diamador about that play. I'm like, did you see that little kid? And he's like, yeah, man, I saw him. I was looking for my family. Anyway, check out all of our Niner stuff on the Krueg Show YouTube channel. If you're one of the over 400 people still in this chat, help us get to 13,000 subs. If you're in the chat right now and you've yet to like and subscribe, we do a lot of Giants, a lot of Niners, a lot of Warriors, a lot of Bay Area sports, and we're going to do much, much more in the year ahead. So be a subscriber to the channel. If you hit the like, that helps the algorithm kind of find more people. If you hit subscribe, you'll just get a little notification every time we go live. And then you can also be a club member. We got a number of club members, and we put out special content for the club members. We try to do it every day. We don't actually do it every day, but we try to do it every day. And we'll do more club member videos during Super Bowl week from Arizona coming up next week, if and when the 49ers get it done. GTC Reels says, will Dan bring the air fryer in the van? Yeah, I don't know if we're going to take any chances with Danny and the air fryer in the van, but you know what? We're going to make an appearance at Danny's 55 and over community and just wreak havoc. Just wreak havoc. We're going to have somebody let us inside the gates, and we are going to go meet people in Danny's 55 and over community. So Bomber T, who's a big fan, says hit the like and join the club. Jedi says good shit, Krueg. Who's next? Niner Empire. Where are we going? All right, 23-17 49ers. Book it. Have a great rest of your Friday, everybody.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer the